I was recently at the library and I picked up some more good picks for early readers. And I'm going to talk to you about each one of them and why I think they could be a good fit for your reader as well. So let's dive in right now. We have the book 10 Pets with the Sound of the Short E. Ooh, that's one of our first initial vowel sounds that we start to learn, right? And this book is authored by Cynthia Amoroso, I believe is how I'm saying that correctly. And if not, Cynthia, you just let us know. I like the simplicity of this book. I also like that it's written in a way that children can actually read it or mimic your reading. They might not know the word count, but here's how you can do a quick read with this book. You say, "Can you count 10 pets?" And as you say it, you're pointing to the words with your fingers and going across the page. Then your child rereads it. "Can you count 10 pets?" And try to have them sound like they're asking a question. This book has wonderful pictures in it. It definitely uses the short E sound. It uses words that they're probably already going to know or they're learning, and so you're going to help them. Some of these words are sight words and some of them are decodable, but as it goes through, they're going to be introduced to a variety of pets. And then you can talk about the way a bird might live differently than the way a cat or a dog lives differently. And they get to learn all kinds of things about the world around them. So if you have not checked out this book by Cynthia Amoroso called 10 Pets, The Sound of Short E, make sure that you do that. Now, I also have to say that I'm not sure if there's more in the series, but I think this is a great start for an early reader. Okay, I found another really awesome book. It's called I Can Help by David Hyde Costello. This book is so cute. It's about a little duck that gets lost and other animals come to his rescue. But along the way, it creates this chain reaction of paying it forward and helping other animals out. In the end, the little duck gets lost again and they all say, "Don't worry, I can help." That phrase is used over and over again, and it will really help to teach your child the words I can help and show specific examples of how they can be helpful too. This book is a Golden Sower in the state of Nebraska for 2018 and 2019, and it's called I'm Not a Chair, and it was written by Ross Burback. It is so funny. It's about a giraffe who enters the jungle and everybody thinks that he's a chair, and he tries to go on to explain that he's not a chair. And in the end, being a chair actually worked in his favor because it saves him from a lion, and he goes back to tell the story and everybody thinks it's funny. If you want a really funny book for your kids, I highly recommend it, and by the end, they're going to know this word, chair. Have you encountered this series by Ron Roy called The Calendar Mysteries? I know I've mentioned before the A to Z mysteries, but the Calendar Mysteries are about the younger siblings of the main characters in the A to Z mysteries. These books are really engaging for kids, and I think the part that I like most is there's big text on them, but then there's also pictures that go along with them, so it helps to keep the kids excited about reading. If you've got a young reader, I'm going to say a really strong third grade reader all the way through even fifth and sixth. These are great books for kids. They're super simple because they're not overly long. This book has a little over 70 some pages in it, and the chapters are very manageable. So if you've got a reluctant reader, this would be a good series to get them into. Now, I know I've heard some sixth grade kids say, "Well, that's just too baby of me to be reading." It's okay. Go to your local library and check it out. Bring it home, and your kids are going to have a good book to read. Have your kids found the series Owl Diaries? It's produced by Scholastic, so you can probably find it in your local book fair, or the series, or this author, Rebecca Elliott. And this is a cute little story about a little owl who just gets so excited about her treetop festival, but she feels very, very overwhelmed by it, and things start to happen because she just feels overwhelmed. So the question is, will she ask her friends for some help? Now, kids like these types of books because they like the friendly text inside of them, and they also really like the fact that there's not a lot of words on a page, and they're very, very engaging and fun. So if you've got a child who's probably reading second grade material, early third grade material, these are probably really good books for them, but I know older students also like those as well, and you can find them in your local library. All right, do you have an older reader ages 8 to 12? Nancy Drew is a really old series. I remember my older sister reading this when she was younger, but the author is Caroline Keene, and the series can be found in most local libraries. But this is number 1 in the series, and it's called Without a Trace. And at first I thought somebody was missing, but it's actually a Fabergé egg that is missing. And there's actually 2 parts to this plot where she's trying to solve, like, where did this Fabergé egg go? But then also somebody is stepping on her zucchinis in her garden. So there's a little mystery and a little fun all wrapped in one. This series, oh gosh, I don't even know how many books are in the series. I'm going to guess 15, maybe 20. Go check out number 1, the Nancy Drew series, and I think you're going to have a happy 8 to 12-year-old. All right, now this actually says Max Tilt, 80 Days or Die, and it's written by Peter Larangis. And I'm going to say if you've got a 10 to 14-year-old that this might be a really good book. It's rather thick, okay? And from what I can gather, and I have not read this book yet, but it takes off kind of where Jules Verne's edition of 80 Days Around the World left off. And so it tracks the great-great-great-grandson of Jules Verne, where he finds the text, some information that Jules Verne had left behind. And so he's got a friend, this young Max has a friend who's got a problem, and the only way to solve it is to go on this journey. And so I haven't read anything about it, but just what I read on the back I think would be really interesting. If your kids like adventure stories, I'm going to say give this one a try. Let's just take a quick peek on the inside of it. The text isn't overwhelmingly small. It looks like the chapters, well, I haven't seen a chapter yet, but let's just check it out. So that would be chapter 10. Oh, there's a few pictures in there. Yeah, there's a few pictures in there, so that's going to keep them going. Yeah, it's not overly heavy on the text. I think if you've got, like I said, a 10 to 14-year-old who's looking for a good book, give this one a try. This was actually the second in the series by this author. They didn't have the first one there. But yeah, I think this would be a good one to start out the summer with. Great summer reading project.